Welcome back to the third Saturday in October, your SEC water cooler podcast for the rest of us. Coming to you on a Wednesday because, well, we'll get into it. But find us online at thirdsaturdayinoctober.com, on social media and Venmo at TSIO Pod. I am Bradley here with Jared. Jared, how are you?
I couldn't be happier. First of all, I will pay tribute to your Tennessee Vols men's basketball team. Absolutely saddened that they were defeated by a very good Houston team. Didn't want to see that, but that did happen. But I cannot discount the fact that my Auburn Tigers were able to survive and continue on, and so I'm elated and um, basketball is still happening, even though the Vols season has sadly ended. But I am still paying attention to all things that are happening with the Tennessee men's basketball team. And, it looks like this trip to the Elite Eight has set them up really nicely with some potential transfer portal players and some good things. I think are. I don't expect Tennessee to fall off. I'm going to put it
Yeah.
that way. So, yeah.
Well, fingers crossed. So,
Yeah,
um,
fingers crossed, of course.
yeah, Tennessee lost on Sunday. Auburn won on Sunday. And then storms ripped through the Nashville area Sunday night. So, um, we, our family actually had to go downstairs in our lower level and camp out in the closet for about 30-45 minutes as storms, and possible tornadoes pass through. Um, and so Monday, when we normally record, I was a zombie. And um,
And I'm glad you're okay, by the way. I should have
yeah,
started out with that.
no,
So, yeah.
thankfully, I, I, I can't remember if anything actually touched down. It's hard to tell at night. But luckily, um, not a ton of damage, from what I can tell. But we do have more weather moving into the season for Tennessee. Ends in the Elite Eight against a really good Houston team. Um, I think there was just some hangover from the Kentucky game because, um, if I remember correctly, no team has beaten Kentucky more than Tennessee. Um, and if you look at a graph of teams that both make the NCAA tournament and make it, I believe it's Final Four appearances, it's Kentucky and then nobody. Like your
That's
your
pretty much true.
your Dukes, your
Yeah.
UConns, UNCs, they are so far below Kentucky. It's unreal. Um, but to be able to put out Kentucky in the Sweet 16 to make it to the Elite Eight, that's not a bad way to semi end the season.
Not at all. No.
Uh, and with the loss to Houston, um, Tennessee's radio broadcasters have retired. They announced earlier, I guess during football season, Bob Kessling would be stepping down and retiring after 25 years, and his basketball counterpart Burt Bertelkamp decided to hang it up as well, um, setting the stage for uh, somebody they got from the transfer portal. Um, the
A
voice of the
new
Tennessee,
era.
the
Yeah.
voice of the Tennessee Titans,
Hey.
who is a Tennessee grad, worked for um, John Ward, who is a legendary broadcaster, is coming in and taking over the reins for both football and basketball. So it really was the end of an era, for the players and the broadcasters. But as you said, there's talk of a lot of really talented players coming in, and Tennessee loses a lot,
Mm.
and only had not nine. scholarship players. One got hurt, so that they were down to eight. Um, and so there's a lot of scholarships available at Tennessee and a lot of potential to play quite a bit. Um, so I'm really excited for what's next, although it's going to be tough to see next year's team without Zakai Ziegler and Meshack because they've been there for 4 years. And something that's been talked about on the radio is you don't see a whole lot of 4 year players anymore. Um, but but something there's something to be said about those players who come in, learn the system, and can really develop in the system um, to really cause your team to mesh. Um, so Tennessee season ends. Auburn's continues uh, for at least one more weekend. I guess there really is only one more weekend, but um, no, I'm very excited for Bruce Pearl and his team. Jared, I know you are as well.
I am very much so. I couldn't be more happy for these guys, and it's been just such a fun season watching them, and some incredible highs, a couple of lows with some losses right there at the end of the season. But I tell you, man, what a group! And regardless of what happens in the Final Four, I am very happy for this team, and have just had a really good time as a fan watching this team. And honestly, want them to go on and win out. But even if they don't, that's not going to take away from the joy and the fun of this season. It's been a great season, so I really enjoyed it, and it's um, I really enjoyed talking about it with you, on these podcasts and
Yeah.
witnessing not just Auburn, play awesome basketball at times, but also seeing things like the Meshack miracle and just all these different things that have happened throughout the year. It's just been a lot of fun. It's just been kind of revived my love for college basketball, to be honest with you. So
And
yeah,
no kidding. It has been a
mm,
fun year. So let's see. Seven of the Sweet 16 teams were from the SEC. Um, how many from uh of the Elite Eight? Um, four from the SEC, two in the Final Four, and we are guaranteed an SEC team in the championship
in the
game.
championship game, yeah. So there are some that are arguing that okay, yes, Florida did beat Auburn when they played in the regular season, but how difficult is it to beat that team again? It's not an easy thing to do and especially in a neutral court. Although they did beat them at Auburn, um, I just don't know, man. A part of me wants to buy into that hype,
Yeah.
obviously, but another part of me is very guarded because we've seen what happens when Florida's tested and they're up against the ropes against UConn or Texas Tech, and then somebody like Clayton steps up and just takes over. So you're absolutely nuts if you think I'm discounting Florida. I'm not. Florida is very much capable and qualified to take out Auburn and even Duke for that matter. So they could win this whole thing. Any of these teams could. Houston could get the surprise of a lifetime and beat Duke.
Yeah.
If Duke's not paying attention, they're not ready. Because Houston's a good team,
Yeah.
and we saw that. But we know Duke is too because Alabama's a better scoring. Um, you know, I would say they're potentially, a higher scoring team than a Duke, but um, they got handled. So I honestly don't know what's going to happen. Um, I don't, and it's going to be fun. I'm going to
It,
watch it and enjoy it. And if Florida wins and they go on, I'm going to root for Florida. My wife's a Gator, so I'm going to, as much as that I know destroys you to hear that, being an anti-Florida fan,
yeah.
I will find it in my heart to cheer on Florida if they go to the championship game. So
Um, yeah, no, if Florida makes it to the championship game, I'm going to be cheering for either Houston or Duke to lose. Um,
you won't cheer for Florida, but you will
no.
cheer that the other team loses.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
can't do
no,
that.
that's That's the SEC way, though. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what's interesting
Yeah.
is I'm looking at
Yeah, I've done that with Alabama this season. I
you know,
couldn't
yeah,
cheer for Alabama, but it's like, I just don't want the other team to win.
I
So,
know. Just when you're like, okay, finally, Saban's retired, their
mm.
basketball team's hot, and
I know it's unfair.
it
Yeah.
really is unfair. So I'm looking at this matchup between Auburn and Florida, and um, this is through ESPN. So they've got their ESPN bet odds, and it's 2.5 in favor of Florida. However, the
In
matchup
favor of
predictor,
Florida. Okay.
yeah, um,
I
so
think that's
predict,
right.
yeah, so predicting
Yep.
Florida to win by 2 or 3 points. But the matchup predictor, according to ESPN Analytics, gives Auburn a 58% chance to win. So
They're just like baiting you to throw that money down
I
and
I know
gamble on that
I don't
game.
I know the point spread moves based on um how the bets are coming in, but I I don't know. I'm not a betting man, and
I'm not either, but because when I do, I lose. So a part of me's wanted to bet on Florida just
yeah, I
because.
know it's
If I bet on Florida, then that means for sure Auburn's going to win.
yeah.
But you know how that goes. So,
Well, it's like my bracket has Auburn winning it all. And I knew that I couldn't pick Tennessee because if I picked Tennessee, they definitely wouldn't win. And here we are. But um
uh, I
so
had
I
said that Tennessee didn't make it. I was hoping they would. So and I was for sure that they could handle Houston. I was shocked when Houston um, showed up and played the way they did. But that just reminds you, man, this is big boy basketball,
yeah,
and you get caught even for a little bit, it's potentially going home, and that happened to Alabama too. So
yeah. And I think with Tennessee, Houston Houston came out just lights out.
yeah, well,
And
that's the danger of Houston.
and
They.
and I think my Vols just got a little tight
Mhm.
and what ended up happening was the lowest scoring first half by a 2 seed in the history of March Madness.
Yep.
So, hey, at least Tennessee's setting records. Um, Not good ones, but hey,
back to back seasons, Elite Eight. I mean, most
yeah,
teams would kill for that. So,
no, I agreed. And how many great teams don't make it to the Elite Eight?
well,
Um,
there was a lot of them, yeah,
yeah,
as we know. So,
and
um,
I think now, uh, as much as ever, you need to play for a 1 seed, maybe a 2 seed, because I do think that seeding um, t tends to help quite a bit. Because we've got all 1 seeds, and I think I'm trying to remember what we talked about a couple weeks ago. 1s and 2 seeds have uh made up the Final Four 7 of the last 8 years or something like that. Like it's becoming more top heavy. Um, I think some of that's transfer portal combined with um, NIL, but I mean that's the game now.
yeah.
And uh, the the thing is, it's not it's not the same Final Four every year. It's just who can kind of put together that roster. But you can put together a roster faster than previous generations.
You
So,
can. And I don't know how long it'll be like that. And personally, I kind of hope it doesn't stay like this. Because I feel like it does. Uh, there is some excitement to it, but it's also just a nightmare. Um, I
yeah.
prefer basketball, football, any of the sports, honestly, to not have such flexibility where players can just get up and go. I get it, and I want the players to have what they need and be treated fairly, but I don't like this. Okay, I can just bounce. Um, I don't like that. I don't think it's especially for football. I hate it, but I definitely don't like it for basketball either.
Yeah.
So
I think I think some sort of salary cap is probably where we're headed.
yeah,
Um,
and I honestly think the sooner they can make that work, I think that will really be a good thing. There will be some players that won't pitch a fit because right now they just have it all. They have it made, man. You didn't play enough minutes, you know, you can go put yourself in the portal and somebody's like, hey, come over here and we're gonna pay you six figures. And these kids come from homes that probably didn't have a lot of money, some of them, and then that's an easy yes.
yeah.
That's not a tough sell. There's no loyalty to Tennessee or Auburn or any of these schools when you come from a family that could use that money.
Yeah.
And yeah, I get it. It makes
So,
sense, but
so here,
I'd like to see it changed. So
yeah. So here's a question for you because let's look how the NFL works. There's a salary cap for money paid to a player by an organization, by their employer. What's not capped are their endorsement deals, which in college is NIL because the money that you're paid by your employer is your education, room and board, nutrition, health insurance, all that. Are they I don't know. I don't know how this is going to work. I mean,
yeah, well, you'd have to be an employee that makes some kind of, like you said, some cap, and then that locks you into some kind of contract
yeah.
that says,
But I
okay,
I can
for
totally
three
see,
seasons or whatever it is, I'm going to commit to
yeah.
this. And
I can totally see somebody saying you can't cap how much money I make and taking this to the courts. I mean that's kind of how all this started in the first place. Um, but I haven't heard a lot of talk about can you truly cap some of these endorsements? And I don't know how you can police all this, but it's not my job to figure it out. It's just my job to talk about it. So
right.
no, I think there needs to be some sort of level playing field. Um, and I with the transfer portal, I do think that um, and maybe you see this more in basketball. I'm not sure. Transfer once, transfer once, and it's like, okay, fine, whatever. You don't have to sit out. But if you transfer a second time, I think you should have to sit out. Uh, whether it's a full season or a partial season, I don't know. Um, it'd be interesting to see if they did something where you've got to sit out X number of games, not a full season. Um, but that
Yeah, I think yeah, the people way smarter than you and I will have answers for that, but that's the way it used to be. Some would argue that's not really fair if a coach can, just leave and take another job. I get that. So, do you do that to a coach? Okay, the coach can't
and that's
technically
why I think you
start until this time. I don't know how that works. So,
and I think that's why it should be okay to transfer once
No penalty.
No penalty. Yeah. But
Okay.
it
I see what you mean.
but and and I know it may have been Igor Milicic that transferred twice, and his second stop was Tennessee. Um, I can't remember if that's who it was, but Tennessee's had somebody on their team this year who had been two other places. Um, but I think for the Dalton Connects and the Chaz Laniers who spend 3 or 4 years at a program, transfer once, I don't think there needs to be a punishment for that. Um, because basically they're proving, hey, I can I'm the best in my conference. I want to go play better competition and see if I can play my way into a first round pick, maybe even a lottery pick in the NBA. Um, because I mean that's truly what's best for the student athlete. Um, and I do hope that as they make these decisions, they're thinking about what's best for the student athlete, what gives them the best chance for success. And what's not good for success is bouncing around every year to a new team. Um,
Yeah, agreed.
so
Well, that is probably on the horizon, but that's not the case this year. And you're going to see some new faces on the Tennessee squad. You're going to see new faces on the Auburn squad and every other squad. And that's just what these coaches have to navigate now. But thankfully, I think settled, secure programs like a Tennessee or Auburn are probably going to see less of it than some other schools. I've already heard schools like Indiana and some of these others are just completely gutted.
yeah,
And it's like, okay, well, nowhere to go but up once you
yeah.
kind of lose everybody. So,
Okay, so how are you feeling about the game against Florida?
I'm thrilled to be there, and I'm excited to see Auburn play a team that they lost to, and see how they match up now in such a so many stakes on the line. But I can say this with full honesty, as much as I deeply desire Auburn to win, if they don't, I'm not going to be crushed. I really won't be. I would love to see them win, and I will be thrilled if they do. But if they don't, I'm not. It's not gonna. I seriously feel like, man, this is the the very few times where I can say this with and feel honest about it is it's not gonna destroy me. I'm
Yeah,
gonna be okay. Just the fact that we got here is such a big thing, and I'm thrilled about it. And Florida is an excellent team, and to beat them would be fantastic. And if they don't win, kudos to Florida, and I would be thrilled that Auburn made it to the Final Four regardless. So,
yeah,
and I feel like I can honestly say that. Now, of course, I want them to win. So,
yeah.
yeah,
No, I'm pulling for Auburn in this one.
yeah. If for
Um,
no other reason for your bracket. So,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I need all the help I can get because my bracket I'm in two groups. Um, in a group of bunch of friends and our wives. I'm 11th out of 17. That's not good. And
Yeah,
in
well, that
my
wasn't always the case. There was a
there's
little moment there where you were,
there was a time that I was in second
y-
place, I think.
yeah, you were almost on the very top, and I was like, hey, there might be a there might be a good thing going
So
on
you're
here, and
saying there's
then
a chance. Yeah.
things
In my
flipped. So
office group of 24, I am a lowly 15. Um, and I think I was top five at one point. Um, but could never crack the top five. And it's a bummer because our office pool, we've got it set up. There's a little trophy for first place, but also the final four, the top four brackets at the very end get lunch, and because being one of the last four is such an honor in college basketball, and it's an honor in our bracket group as well. So, um, yeah, I'm going to be missing out on that lunch. Uh, I can wave from down the street, uh, and hope just hope to sniff whatever's cooking. But um, but no, this is I'm gonna be watching this weekend, and I don't know the last time that I watched a college basketball game that Tennessee was not playing in just just because. I mean, because I would check in on SEC games. We would text, especially at the end of a game, um, if something was really good, really close, or upset. Um, but I expect to be watching quite a bit of the games this weekend to see how it all shakes out.
Agreed.
Um, I'll also be watching baseball.
Yeah,
Um,
so let's maybe lean that way for a little bit. How is Vols Nation doing? And I know in our last chat there was uh, a loss or two that snuck in there.
yeah, no,
So,
yeah, there was last week uh lost to who was it? ETSU, and then
oops.
dropped the
Yeah.
first of the series to Alabama. Um, won the last two, so won the series against Alabama, which the last SEC team to win a series against Tennessee is Alabama in 2024. Um, so uh, even though there are only two returning starters on Tennessee's uh, um, for field positions,
Hmm.
Tennessee did not want to lose to Alabama. And
Yeah, well, that was short-lived because you came
yeah,
back to win the series, which is
yeah,
really what matters.
yeah. And so um, oh, in fact, I was busy cutting the grass tonight and or last night because you'll be listening to this not the same day that we're recording it. Um, but I did not get to pay attention to um, what Tennessee was doing tonight. But
Well, I know they played South Carolina, I
yes,
believe,
swept
and
South
yeah,
Carolina.
yeah, they swept South Carolina, and then it looks like they've got a nice matchup coming up this weekend with Texas A&M. But before that, I think they played a game today against, or they play on Tuesday, which is what against Tennessee Tech. Is that right?
Yes.
So, and
So,
I have or Tennessee somebody TGE, whoever the heck that is. I have no idea who that is. Is that who that is? I don't even know.
well, if I can pull this up,
I
um,
thought it was oh yeah, Tennessee Tech Golden Eagles. That's what that is.
yeah,
Tennessee Tech.
Tennessee
So
Tech,
in
won
Cookeville, right?
7-1.
Right.
Um, so, got AJ Russell back as well. Pitcher who has been out. I believe did he have Tommy John surgery maybe and was recovering from that?
Ugh.
Um,
Yeah,
so glad to have
that
him
sucks.
back. Gavin, uh, Gavin Keelan has been out with a hamstring injury. Not sure if he returned tonight. I believe he was out um, for all of the Alabama series, but he's missed at least 4 games, and he's second. I'm sorry, third in runs scored at 32. So Gavin scored 32 runs this year. Dean Curley is in the lead with 39 runs scored, and Andrew Fisher has 35 runs scored. Um, the bats. This I think this is the most surprising thing to me is how good Tennessee is hitting, having basically a new starting lineup. Um, but uh, I'm looking at this, and for our major contributors, um, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 guys hitting over 300. That's pretty dang good. And Gavin, before he got hurt, hitting 425. Um, it's just it's insane. The offensive production has been pretty incredible. Um, and this is one of the reasons why I love college baseball is they've got metal bats, so
Mhm.
it the ball goes further. Uh, it, what's funny is I grew up playing baseball. Um, Once a year, we may play in a wooden bat tournament, which was always fun. Uh, but it can get expensive. Especially over a season if you're having to buy all these wooden bats. Um, but there's something about the crack of a wood bat that just sounds better than the ting
Oh
of a
yeah,
baseball bat.
you're right.
Um, I mean, it still sounds good when you really get a hold of it, but it's not the same. Um, but um, I'm thinking about this because if you follow the majors, the Yankees hit 9 home runs and scored 20 runs the other night with this new torpedo bat that's actually not that new. Um, Other teams, other players um, have experimented with this torpedo bat, but basically,
Yeah, it seems like the Yankees are crushing it with that bat.
yeah, you know how a bat just kind of gets the barrel gets bigger as you move towards the end of the bat, and then um, but the thing is, the more weight that you have out there, the harder it is to swing. And the more you can move that weight closer to your hands, the faster you can actually swing. So traditionally, what bat manufacturers did is they kind of scooped out or cupped the end of the bat just to take a little bit of weight out of there. Well, somebody decided, well, instead of scooping it out, what if we just kind of taper it off? And
Hmm.
so it kind of looks like a snake who's just eating a mouse, where it's just kind of bulged more in the middle.
Yeah.
Um, but it moves that weight down, like the center of mass, down towards the handle just a little bit. And the thinking is you can actually, the same weight bat, you can swing a little bit faster. So you've still got the mass behind it, but you can get a little bit more speed. Um, who knows if they can do the same thing with metal bats? Um, but you may it if the experiment goes well with the Yankees and they truly are scoring more runs, you'll probably see the majors move more towards these torpedo bats because, yeah, I mean, like football, more scoring is more exciting. Baseball could use um, some more scoring to make it more exciting for the masses. Me, I don't mind a pitcher's duel, um, but I also don't mind a 7-6 football game either. Um, I'm just old school like that. But if you want to see runs being scored, watch Tennessee because they're what is it, 25-2. I have to um, pull up the record, but um, 27-2. Excuse me, 8-1 in the conference, and number one in the country. Um, and I mean, like we've said this before too, the SEC is really strong in baseball this year. Um, I'm gonna pull up the rankings because it's it's like football and it's like basketball. Um, you got Tennessee at number one, Arkansas at number two, Georgia at number three, Texas at five, LSU at 7, Alabama at 8, Ole Miss at 9, Oklahoma at 10. So we're, we're 10 deep, and there are two non-SEC schools in the top 10. Um, then you got Auburn at 16 and uh, Vanderbilt at 23. Um, so that's 10 in the top 25 and 8 of the top 10. This is it's it's ridiculous. Um, the SEC, it just means more teams winning and winning well. And I don't know how this is going to work because these teams have to play each other. I know Tennessee plays Arkansas. I think we play Georgia. I don't think we played Texas. We already beat Alabama 2 games to 1. Um, but this is, I'm sorry, this is ridiculous. 8 of the top 10. Don't you think?
It's domination is what it is. So
And
yeah, and I'm here for it. So
and so Tennessee's SEC schedule. We've got Texas A&M rematch of the College World Series. Thought this would be an awesome matchup, and A&M has just kind of fallen flat. They did lose their coach. They lost some players, um, but they have underwhelmed this season. Uh, then Tennessee travels to Ole Miss, hosts Kentucky, travels to LSU, hosts Auburn, hosts Vanderbilt, and ends the season traveling to Fayetteville to take on currently number 2 Arkansas. Um, so Arkansas's ranked, Vanderbilt's ranked, Auburn's ranked, LSU's ranked. I don't think Kentucky's ranked. Ole Miss is ranked. A&M is not. This is going to be brutal, and I don't expect sweeps like this last weekend against South Carolina. Um, but I do expect Tennessee to win most of these series. Uh, I think it's going to be really hard to win them all. Um, but I've loved the way that Tennessee's looked. Pitching, I don't know that it's as strong as it was last year, um, but it's still really strong. Got a really good bullpen, and we'll see how far it carries us.
yeah, well, it's doing reasonably well so far. So I anticipate things are going to be just fine, and Tennessee fans are going to enjoy this baseball season. So so far that has been true, and that is likely to continue. So
And I've heard Lindsey Nelson Stadium is a fantastic place to watch baseball. So um, it'd be nice if I could
yeah,
get up there
that'd be fun to
for a
make a
game.
little day trip and you know sneak over to Knoxville if you could. Uh, maybe that could happen.
Yeah. Um, I may have to see
Especially on a weekend. Maybe talk the wife into
the
giving you the
week.
green light and just
I can tell you this: the weekend games are expensive,
Oh, okay, so
and
you
they're
probably
hard to find tickets.
oh,
Um,
okay, yeah.
I want to say
There's
that it
that. Yeah.
holds a couple thousand. Um, but and so
Is
here's
that true if they play against Vandy at Vandy?
so it's going to be in Knoxville this year. Um, I have gone to games at Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's got a great stadium. Um, but anytime I get tickets, it's usually from a friend, and I'm not allowed to wear any orange. But now they're
The price you pay for admission, yeah.
yeah. Now um they don't give me tickets to the games where they play Tennessee. So there's really no point in wearing orange anyways. And I'll root on Vanderbilt. Tim Corbin is a fantastic coach. Um, he's a bit like the Nick Saban of college
Yes.
baseball. Um, and I was talking with a Vandy fan, I think about 2 weeks ago, and he said, I don't know how much longer Tim Corbin's going to stick around with the new NIL because that's not the type of baseball he wants to play, which is very much what got Saban. He's like, I don't want to deal with this aspect of college football. It's just getting too ridiculous.
Yeah.
Um, and because Coach Corbin's one that wants to find a player and develop him, find a player that fits his team's style of baseball and develop them into major league talent. I mean, Vanderbilt has been a uh, a funnel to the majors, uh, and
You ain't
for
right
good
about
reason.
that. Yeah.
So, um,
Good times.
yeah, but before we get too far into baseball, we still got three more games of college basketball.
We do. And I just thought of this when we were just talking. I noticed that you mentioned Texas A&M's baseball coach. They lost their baseball coach after last season to Texas, right? I
Yep.
think is what happened. Well, their basketball coach is leaving, and he's going to Maryland. So,
Really?
yeah, so there's a lot of discussion on who's going to fill that role now at Texas A&M, which is a good job,
Yeah.
and I'm sure they'll get a good coach. Maybe they'll steal Texas Tech's coach or Iowa State's coach, or I don't know who they'll get, but I'm sure they'll get somebody who is qualified and can take that program and keep it relevant. And so
Yeah.
A&M's got a lot of money to spend, so I just
Oh yeah.
doubt there's not going to be any interest in that job. So
And I'm not too sad. I never liked um A&M's coach. Uh and I think part of it was,
it seemed like a weird fit to me, to be honest.
well, I know a year ago Tennessee was playing A&M, I think late in the season, and A&M ended up winning, if I remember correctly. But A&M's coach, I remember being very obnoxious that game, and at one point had crossed mid-court, I believe, to call a timeout, and I mean way outside the coach's box, and they
Hmm.
still gave him the timeout, which helped them uh, seal the deal in that win over Tennessee. But I
Yeah.
just just some of the obnoxiousness I felt as a Tennessee fan. Um, have fun in Maryland.
Well, what I know of you, Bradley, is you're pretty reasonable and you're fair, but you're not that fair. So-
No, yeah, don't speak ill of my Vols. Um, yeah, no. I'm really excited for these games. I know you are excited
Oh,
for
absolutely.
a a
100%.
a rematch with Florida.
I
Um,
am. Yeah, that's a good team. And if you're gonna, I mean, if you're gonna go win a championship potentially, do you want to play the best teams? And for Auburn to have to beat Florida and then potentially have to beat Duke or Houston, those are the best teams. So that's
yeah,
that. Do you really want it any other way? I mean, you might, but there is no easy path to win a championship, and there's not going to be an easy path for any of these teams to win. So if whoever wins this Final Four will have earned it, I think that's fair to say. So.
yeah, no, it's not luck that's going to.
No, no,
And
you have a legitimate awesome team. So,
yeah,
and Auburn does have a great team. So they're in the hunt. They're there. They made it this far. So why not? Why not Auburn? But I'm cautiously optimistic, as I should be. So,
yeah. Well, we will have to reconvene in a
and we
few
will,
days.
and we shall. Yes.
Yes, to crown um the new champion. Um, It
And
won't be
I
my
wouldn't have it
Vols,
any other
but
way. I want the record to reflect that. So,
yeah, yeah. It won't be my Vols, but it will be a phenomenal
no, but we
team.
are likely to be witnessing another trip to Omaha. So,
Yeah. Um, but hey, find us online, third Saturday in October.com, on social media and Venmo, uh, at TSIO Pod. Um, Heroes come in all sizes. Go Tigers.
go
Roll
Tigers.
Vols.
War Eagle, Final Four, baby. Let's go.
Let's finish this thing.
Tailgate, man cave, living room, pre-game, burgers, ribs, chicken wings, chip and dip,